Everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. My voice is back a little bit more. Today, I just see a few charts here I do really want to talk to you guys about. I feel very strongly about this. All the fintech stocks are actually looking really decent. And that goes across with SOFI, AFRM, Shopify, Robinhood, PayPal, Square especially. I'm going to show you that here a little bit. Upstart, and I'm going to talk about NU to kind of end this here. What you're seeing here is SOFI. Now, SOFI, I do have a Gann chart here that's being drawn here, and you can see that it's got some pretty remarkable market symmetry here throughout the entire last 2 years. And we basically got rejected here at arc, and then we finally broke through 2 arcs at a time, got up to this dark green arc up here, and guess what it's been doing so far? You remember how scary it was last week when price plummeted a little bit slightly below $14, and everybody thought that 14 was kind of gonna break through, but you have some help here. You have some really great help here, and overall the downtrend here was on a little bit of declining volume here, so it's a little bit, non-committal, if you will. But you have a lot of really great help here. Turn off the volume here, give you a little bit of a better look here, as well as the Gann here. You can see that the Ichimoku cloud, you have a line here called the Tenkan line. Tenkan line basically just like shooting way up. It looks like it's just kind of wanted to spike the price up higher. Tenkan line was basically a way to kind of calculate. It's like an average of like 9 different candles or something like that. It's basically just coming up, and it's very positive sloping. It's served as a support zone over here. It pushed price up, and it's finding support right here, right? Push price up over here, push price up over here. You know what I saw when I saw this? It reminds me of what happened with Bitcoin on the monthly here before it spiked up, right? You remember how it was kind of happening over here, price kind of downtrend here, but the Tenkan was just kind of spike up here, right? I think the same thing is probably happening to SOFI with the weekly chart here. It's just a little bit of a different time frame, give you an idea. With this kind of support coming up, it lines up perfectly with the fact that it's holding up the Gann arc over here. And because this Gann arc over here is holding, I think there's a good chance that we might end up just pushing up to the next Gann level, which is going to be around $20. Consolidation, bull flag, go up to 20 to the next level, not unheard of. Completely within reasonable price action. Are we too overextended right now on the monthly? Well, let's take a look at the Bollinger Band. The answer is no. We already had a little bit overextension here. We had a candle that closed way outside the upper Bollinger Band. It's completely understandable for it to close back inside of, at least have a little bit wick inside the upper Bollinger Band to kind of let things cool down a little bit here. Now, you have a very nice hammer here. It's only really been about a week of price action, but so far the monthly candle looks very nicely hammered. This is a pretty bullish look to it so far, right? I think SOFI is going to do pretty decent. I think it's at a breakout zone. I think it's probably going to go up to the next level to like maybe $20. That's what I'm seeing in SOFI. AFRM also looks great. You know, look at the Bollinger Band, what it do? Well, it looks basically the same thing as SOFI. SOFI had a little bit of overextension here for November. It had to cool down in December. And in January, it looks like it's just touching the upper Bollinger Band here, right? AFRM, is it doing the same thing? I would say so. But again, very impulsive November, cooling down here in December. And in January, it's just basically just hovering around the zone over here, touching the upper Bollinger Band. It looks like it wants to ride up the upper Bollinger Band here over time, right? That's all this looks like it's wanting to do. Again, 20 moving average curling up. Very nice bull trend here so far. You know, in terms of Ichimoku, I think it would, if the monthly Ichimoku cloud was existing, which it doesn't, it'd probably be there in about a couple of months. But if it is, I think it's going to be inside the Ichimoku cloud. So, looking at the weekly chart, weekly chart is quite fascinating because if I just put up the Gann over here, and very similar to what SOFI has been doing, you can see what AFRM has really been doing. It's basically got rejected the arc here, pushed through the arc here, and it's back testing the upper part of the arc over here. That's pretty much all it's really doing. But what I meant by arc is this isn't an arc over here, right? These are Fibonacci based Gann it basically is like a circle fib kind of thing, right? It pushes through, back testing this, finding support over here. Why did it have to come back test? Because it couldn't push through the 0.382 fib level over here. It has to build up some energy before you push up a lot higher. During the entire process of back testing this Gann arc, it was happening on rather low volume, right? So high volume push through, low volume back test, bullish. Where is it going to go potentially? I don't know exactly. I don't want to go say crazy things. It could potentially hit triple digits. That's kind of where it's looking like it wants to go. How fast, I don't know. But just the fact that it's been really consolidating for close to 2 months now, I think is getting ready. I think the seller is really gotten exhausted here. Right at a pretty strong support level here. It could potentially wick down, kind of like what SOFI did. I think the fact that SOFI kind of wicked down underneath basically means that it wants to go up higher. It was grabbing liquidity down below. It's found support. It looks like it wants to go higher. I don't know whether or not the firm's going to end up going grab liquidity down below here. Maybe even wick down a lot further. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't because it's finding support over here on low volume. Maybe it's just a little bit of exhaustion. Maybe it's just going to keep going higher from here on out. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is it's a bull trend, and it looks pretty bullish to me from different angles, however you want to look at it. This is a higher high after forming a higher low. There's nothing bearish about this trend. The trend looks like it wants to continue. Right? Shopify is a stock that I don't think anybody's really paying much attention to. This is my number 3 biggest individual stock position. I don't talk about it much because I never really get any views when I talk about it. Same thing with AFRM. SOFI, I get a little bit more views, but all these fintech stocks, nobody really cares, right? And SOFI, AFRM, Shopify, they're all on my top 5 individual stock holdings. So if you're looking at if you're just looking at Shopify, what you're going to see here is that over the years, ever since its IPO, it's been extremely bullish. It's just been breaking arc after arc after arc, and it got to the 4th arc up here. And once it got to the 4th arc up here, it was just completely exhausted, and it needed to cool down. So what did it do? It came back. It broke down through this arc here, and it came back down to this arc, found support over here at this arc, right? And guess what it did? It tried to break above this arc here again, and right now we broke above, and right now we got pretty close to back test. Didn't really quite. I mean, I would not be surprised if price just end up plummeting all the way down at some point to 100 to grab that liquidity down below. Maybe there's some bad Shopify news or something like that, and if that happens, that would be a golden buying opportunity to me. Although I'm not buying anymore because I bought down here, so I bought here as well. I bought a little bit over here, so that doesn't really matter to me. But if it ends up coming back to 100, that would be I think, personally think that'd be a pretty good buying opportunity. The other reason why it might come back down and kind of back test a little bit here is because if you look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud, we broke through kind of like butter. We didn't really come back down, back tested around $94. It doesn't have to. Sometimes the cloud is just I don't care, I'm just gonna push right through, even though it kind of got rejected here and spent about 8 months kind of going sideways here, right? But yeah, it could come back down. I think $95 is probably going to be the maximum downside here. But I think Shopify is also getting ready to kind of go up a lot higher. I don't know. It just looks like a pretty bullish chart overall. If I do let me get rid of the scan. Here's a little bit distracting. If I do a Fibonacci level, you can see it's just kind of hovering around the 0.786. Once it breaks the 0.786, some all-time high stuff can be happening. It could go up a lot higher. This is a fib, log fib level, if you will. But yeah, that's really kind of the last boss. If it breaks above, I think probably the sky is the limit here for Shopify over the years. I can see it's already broken through one arc here. I can see it breaking maybe multiple arcs over here over the next 5 years or so. I can see it going a lot higher over the next 5 years. That's Shopify. Robinhood. How can you be bearish on Robinhood? There's really nothing that I'm really get scared about Robinhood. You can see a theme here. Broke above arc after arc after arc. And you back tested this arc here. Very solid back test here for about 5-6 weeks straight. Right? And right now it wants to break above. Guess where it wants to go? Is it going to probably go to 0.76 here, around $50. That might be a strong resistance here. Psychological, at least $50 is strong. And that's also the 0.786 log fib level here, which is going to be relatively, a strong resistance up here. So if it slices it through butter, then it's going up to the 0.86, which is probably going to be the arc up here because it basically broke through the arc here, backtest arc. It's probably going to go to the next arc, right? So those are the next 2 levels. I think $50 is going to be the next level that Robinhood is going to go to. And I'm pretty bullish overall in terms of what I think about Robinhood. PayPal is also looking pretty decent. All these stocks are looking really decent here. Even PayPal looks good, right? What is PayPal doing? Well, I got this log Gann chart here. Basically, it's been over the years, same thing, right? Like Shopify, except it broke down through this arc over here. And Shopify held this arc, but it basically pushed through arc number 1, 2, 3, got to the fourth one, got rejected, came back down, couldn't hold this arc. It's just hovering around this area here, trying to find some support here. Was able to push through the arc now, and we're getting a little bit closer to maybe testing through the arc. I do think that triple digit PayPal is coming in the year 2025. And I do think that there's a good chance in 2025 it could even potentially go up to 0.618, which is like $154.92. And that would be a pretty significant gain for a stock like PayPal. I don't think that it's how do I say that? It could potentially get a little bit more resistance over here. Don't get me wrong, it can end up hovering here for another few months. But just because looking at the rest of the fintech sector, it looks like they want to break out. And I'm going to show you like square or block here in a second. I think that thing is really going to break out. As far as I'm concerned, I think PayPal also wants to break out here. And once it breaks out, it could hit the 0.382 foot level here, which is going to be resistance. You can see how it was resistance and support previously. That's going to be a little bit of resistance here, but I think like the rest of the fintech sector is going to probably end up doing very, very well, just because of some impulsiveness that are happening. A lot of things are building up a lot of energy trying to push through, but it might end up lagging behind the other stuff over here because you're hitting the Gann arc top over here. That's over 0.382, not like Robinhood when you got a little bit more of a clear sky go up to 50, not like, you know, Shopify where you got a little bit more clean sky up here to like, you know, 150, not like AFRM where once you back test the arc here, you got a little bit of clear sky up here to maybe like even like 120, right? Not like SOFI where you got a little bit of clear sky over here and might get up hitting all around to like 20. I think PayPal has a little bit more resistance that it needs to work through, and that's okay. Like it's fine if it lags. It lags, right? But yeah, it looks pretty decent. Square, I think, is one of those that actually looks extremely well. The reason why is I'm going to zoom out here a little bit to a 2-week chart. Each candle represents a 2-week price action. You know, I just put up the Ichimoku cloud here. You can see what it's been doing. This 2-week Ichimoku cloud has been illustrating the story of block or SQ very clearly. What it is doing is that it just kind of broke through, formed big giant head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulder pattern. This is a big giant accumulation pattern, by the way. I think the move is going to be extremely powerful when it ends up moving. And what is it doing right now? It spanned about half a year trying to break inside the Ichimoku cloud, keep on getting rejected here, right? Eventually what happens? Eventually you're able to have a little bit more volume kind of kicking through. And right now, what is it doing right now? Right now it's hitting the top of the 2-week Ichimoku cloud. It's been spending about 4 weeks, actually 2 months to try and break about, a month and a half, try and break about the 2-week Ichimoku cloud. Once it breaks, 0.5 could be a little bit of resistance because you do have a little bit of history over here. But once it breaks, I think it could potentially just keep shooting up to like the 0.618 here, or $134.34. You see how this is also resistance up here too, right? So that's going to be a pretty confluent. So I think it's probably going to end up shooting, if it ends up breaking above here, maybe a little bit of resistance here, like 106, but it's probably going to end up going like 130s in a hurry, right? 30% move up, potentially in Q1 or even Q2 of 2025. Looking pretty decent. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. If you don't believe in technical analysis, you don't have to listen to any of this stuff, but it just looks absolutely beautiful to me. Upstart. A lot of people ask me about Upstart. Well, Upstart is basically showing you a little bit of a different picture, but it's showing you a very, very similar thing, right? If I just simply turn off the Gann here, if I just simply look at the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, you can see this illustrate what's happening Upstart perfectly, right? Went way too far, way too fast, got rejected here at the top of the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, came back down, finding support here at the Tenkan, the blue line. Blue line looks like it wants to push up the cloud and it'll go a lot higher. And this is a higher high compared to over here, a higher high over here, right? This is a higher low compared to over here. This is a bull trend. It's building off a katana. It's expanding. I think there's a lot of energy that's being built up. I think it's probably going to end up pushing it through the cloud, and it's probably going to end up going a lot higher. If I turn on the Ichimoku cloud, if I just show the Gann chart here, you can see on the weekly Gann here, you can also see that it's basically trying to be, it got through this arc over here, it got rejected, also got rejected at the arc and the angle, a little bit of a confluent resistance zone over here. Initially you're hoping the 0.5 would hold, it didn't, came back down, but guess what? None of this matters at all with this downtrend here because it's on like no volume, right? It's just been like, next thing you know, it's going to probably end up pushing through pretty powerfully with the rest of fintech sector if they end up doing well, right? But right now it's just consolidating sideways over here, and I just told you why it's consolidating sideways over here, because of the 2-week Tenkan, right? It looks like it's up curling, so it's probably going to end up pushing price up higher from there on out. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here with Upstart. I think that the chart here looks pretty bullish. I think the next level is going to be the 0.618 up here, which is 105. I think it's going to make it there, right? You just have too many resistance over here. You just need to kind of cool down here a little bit for a couple of months, and that's what it's been doing, just cooling down in a couple of months on declining volume. So the next level is going to be 0.618, $105. Finally, I'm going to end the show here with NU, and somebody asked me about NU. What do I think about NU? I think it's a bullish chart. I think it's going to probably end up challenging 1.414 here by maybe Q2, maybe Q2, maybe even Q3 of 2025, probably Q2. That's what I'm thinking. The reason why that is because it's actually pretty impulsive bullish price action, where it just kind of push, got rejected at 1.414. FIP level, came back down, back testing 0.786. It back tested it twice, but twice, and it's holding. You have a pattern over here called a morning star, where you have actually like a wick, and they basically have a down, a little bit of a doji candle, and up a little bit of morning star. Not perfect, but this is a bullish formation. Looks like it wants to reverse up. You know what this reminds me of? I'm going to turn off the, I think, by the way, I think the capitulation has already happened. So I think this is actually a pretty decent spot for it to just keep flying higher from here on out. You know what this reminds me of? Where it goes, get rejected by 1.414, come back to the 0.786. Reminds me of CrowdStrike. Right. Let me turn off the GAN here for CrowdStrike. I know I go from sector to sector. It's really extremely annoying, but that's kind of what I do, I guess. Let me see. I don't think it really quite hit the 1.414, but I think it did hit the 1.272 here, or at least got close to it. I think it's probably 1.3236. Yeah, I got rejected by 1.236 here, and guess what it came back down to? It came back down to 0.786. Back to 0.786. Guess what it went back to now? It went all the way back to 1.236 already, right? This took maybe about 2 quarters for it to happen. And I think that these kinds of things happen all the time when things are making all-time highs, just couldn't push through and come back to the 0.786. This is a normal kind of movement for bull markets to trying to see whether or not it wants to continue. And that's what it's looking like it's doing right now. So I think it's probably going to end up showing the rest of the fintech stocks to rally on moving up forward. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to a 20-minute video about fintech. Not many people care about this, but I actually feel very strongly about the whole sector. And I keep making videos because I think I just wanted to share thoughts, So anyway, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.